So welcome live NHL Puck Props from Covers, brought to you by Sports Interaction. 14-year NHL vet Carlo Colaiacovo, the man who's just going to be all over the media today. He'll be doing the Montreal game. He'll be doing the Ottawa game. This man needs a nap, and he's sweating.
Big time nap.
He's sweating out. Sweden, Czech Republic under 5.5 right now as we deal with things. Kind of apologies yesterday. It always sucks. Even if Anaheim won the game and we were profitable, looking back on yesterday's card, you still look at, people want to have the closing line value argument. We were on the wrong side of the number for pretty much each play, minus a Strome, which hit. The goalie situation yesterday just went totally against our favor, even in Toronto, where they still don't trust Hildeby, which is hard to believe. They're like, no, Martin Jones, you can stay in there for another game.
Well, look, we clearly got screwed on both plays. The Washington, New Jersey team total and the Washington under in the game. It was a good play based on the information we had of who we thought was going to play. It was supposed to be Vanacek versus Lindgren. And then an hour before game time, they picked Nico Dawes and Shepard. I don't know what the guy's first name is.
50 shots, 9 goals, and then Anaheim has 107 shots.
And then, what we expected the Leafs to be with Hildeby, and then obviously the flu bug in Anaheim clearly, ruffled a bunch of feathers for us, and we were on the wrong side of both. But that's what happens. Unfortunately,
for sure. When you're making bets before.
Those decisions happen, but we got a nice board today that we're hoping to bounce back with. That's what I'm excited about.
Absolutely. So appreciate everybody tuning in here. Everybody there in the chat, feel free to comment. Good day to Adam. Sure wasn't excited when what's his
Ross Atkins?
No, I'm trying to think of the Leafs beat reporter, David Alter, when he's like, yeah, flu bug going around. You're like, oh, no, that is not what you want to hear with your 160 dog who kind of closed at 180. But big slate today. Let's go here. Jonathan Drouin. We're in Colorado, Dallas. Jonathan Drouin for a point, even money. Let's go. All of a sudden, top line, Colorado has the number 1 and the number 3 overall pick from that draft in McKinnon and Drouin. 10
Former
points
teammates.
last 10 games. Nate Ranta. Minutes are up. 22 minutes time on ice last 2 games. He's averaging 15 minutes, so a lot of this isn't priced in. Obviously, kind of a tough matchup versus Dallas. Scott Wedgwood, kind of fading. They've rode him for 9 straight games. Sub 900 save percentage over that. Colorado coming off that big comeback behind overtime win from the Islanders, which Drouin obviously had a big draw in that in a 2-point night. What do you like about Drouin's game now that he's jumped up there? He's always had the skill set, but when he's playing with those guys, anybody can point, and even money looks pretty good.
Well, I watched him a lot covering the Montreal Canadiens over the last couple of years, and you're right. The skill set is there. Just the confidence hasn't been there because the level of consistency in his game has just been too inconsistent. It's waved, it's high, low. And I think in Colorado, it was a sign of a fresh start, getting out of Montreal, his hometown, getting out of the pressures of performing in Montreal and going to a team where he doesn't have to be counted on to be the guy in Colorado. And obviously reuniting with Nate McKinnon and his old junior teammate. I think it's just taken time for him to find his role. And the time is now for Jonathan Drouin. Even if this Colorado team too, they started off really hot, then they went into a little bit of a lull there, and now they're starting to pick up steam again with their game. 1, because their offense is clicking at a very high percentage, and 2, their offensive players are finding a way to produce on a nightly basis. And when you can get depth production like they're getting with Drouin, it just makes them more of a threat on a nightly basis. And it's really great to see that Drouin is finding this type of level of game that we know he's capable of playing, but doing it comfortably now, playing with the players that he's playing with.
Even money for a guy who plays with Rantanen and McKinnon and PP1 with Makar and Nichushkin. Even money all day, doesn't stop. I think the buy point here somewhere around minus 135 if he continues to get 20 minutes a game. So tough spot, but Scott Wedgwood has been kind of sliding of late, and it's really interesting to see. I don't even know who the number 3 there is, but asking Scott Wedgwood to play 10 straight games is
it's
probably
a tough one.
Yeah, for sure. It's a tough spot for him, and you can see hopefully he's kind of wearing down.
And Adam Reckcamp in the chat says this game is going to soar over the 6.5 because McKinnon loves playing Dallas. So,
I mean, after what I saw in the Islanders game, I don't believe it. Like I'm not going to discredit that 100%. that power play is incredible right now. I talent-wise, I don't think it can be beat with Rantanen, McKinnon, and McCarr, those top 3 touches.
And Pushkin net front too. That guy's a beast.
Exactly, but like the 3 touch guys on the power play, I don't think you can beat it right now. Let's go to one that you like here, Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Let's go Tampa Bay 3-way money line plus 125. I don't like taking money line favorites in hockey just straight up on the money line because as soon as you go to overtime, I mean, you're already losing value because it's kind of closer to a coin flip. Right. So let's take some big dogs. Let's get some plus money on this situation. Big side, obviously, Wild without Kirill Kaprizov and Philip Gustafsson, and even some depth guy in Marcus Foligno. They're riding that 3-game losing streak. Fleury is kind of in the twilight of his career. He's obviously, we talked about the Canadian goaltenders yesterday. Number 1 Canadian goaltender, obviously active goaltender, but a 3.09 goals against, sub 900 save percentage on the year. The price is interesting as Tampa Bay is a decent road favorite, but this is more of Minnesota price adjustment as they've been a home dog in back-to-back games. And so it's the same price as Calgary. And Czech Republic have tied it up, and that kind of makes me angry.
Are you sure they tied it up?
Yeah, I don't know what your feed's slow. No. I'm on. Yeah, they tied it up. I hate hockey. Just kidding. No, still on the Sweden puck line, though. Let's go. But Minnesota's missing some serious pieces here, Coco. Tampa Bay has juggled the lines. Vaz has dropped 3 straight, but has played the Rangers, Winnipeg, and Florida. What do you like about Tampa Bay in this spot, which the odds makers also agree with you, making them the road favorites here?
Well, I think what I like about Tampa is more about Minnesota. This is a team that is clearly struggling without their best player in the lineup in Kirill Kaprizov. You saw on the weekend, he took a cross check late in the game in Winnipeg. And left the game, didn't play the next one, and didn't play the last one. And their offense just doesn't look the same. And Gustafsson, you're asking Fleury to play consecutive games. Fleury's a great story, just played his 1,000th game, but to expect him to carry a role as a number 1 goaltender at the age that he's at is a pretty unrealistic expectation to put on him. And, Minnesota, they've really benefited from the new coach bump. But it almost seems like they're coming back down to earth a little bit, and with the absence of these players in the lineup, it just makes the hill for them to climb that much higher. And then you want to talk about the Tampa Bay team coming off of a hard loss against Winnipeg, now going into another Central Division. Their power play is just unstoppable right now. Minnesota's power play is near the bottom of the league. I just think there's a really good bounce back spot for Tampa Bay playing against a team that is going through as many struggles as they're going through right now.
Aaron Koivu in the chat saying next goal check on the power play. He cashes that. Sweden, least penalized team, best penalty kill in the tournament.
Yeah.
That hurts. That hurts. But no, like I said, let's keep rolling. Let's take a favorite here and get the plus money as opposed to the minus 130 on the money line that Tampa Bay is. It's hard enough to win 50% of your plays in hockey. You need to find plus money value in a lot of plays.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go Tampa Bay there. Jumping over, not in chronological order, Winnipeg, San Jose. This price, I didn't think we could get this price. San Jose team total under 2.5, minus 130. I have this closer price to minus 150, minus 155. Pretty simple here. One of the worst offenses faces a team that's held opponent to under 3 goals in 18 of their last 21 games. They haven't allowed 4 goals in 26 straight games, and it doesn't even matter who's in net, whether it's Hellebuck. Obviously, you want Hellebuck, but even if Laurent Bressant's in, he's allowed 2 or fewer in 4 straight starts. how tough a matchup is this for San Jose, who's probably still trying to figure out which one of these guys gets to go to the All-Star game?
Yeah, what a joke that is. We got to watch a San Jose player playing in an All-Star game.
Ooh, my vote's for William Eklund, bud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. But this is all about Winnipeg. I did a couple games on the weekend with Winnipeg, and I really, really learned a lot about this team and how well built they are. I mean, you talk about rolling four lines, you talk about production from your bottom six. They have one of the best third lines in the league with Lowry, Appleton, and Niederreiter, who are on a nightly basis dominating other teams' top lines. And they play a really, really good structured team defense. They get great goaltending. And a lot of it shows just by the stats that you just mentioned, right? And the last time they played a team low in the standings, they dominated that team in Chicago, but lost in overtime because they got goalied.
By Peter Mrazek.
And San Jose, again, like the team that started off as the worst team in the league, they started to get some traction, but now they're falling right back into that hole again. They lost 9 in a row. They don't got much positive mojo going for them right now. And so, you could take Winnipeg to win this game. We don't suggest it because we don't like offering big money line plays, but to think that regardless of what the result could be, that you could probably bank on San Jose not scoring more than 2 goals in this one. I think that's the safer bet here.
Yeah, the under flat 2 at Sports Interaction is plus 130, and then the under 1.5 is, I think it's like plus 180.
What's the shutout?
Ooh, what is the shutout? No, but I do.
I think it's hard. That's hard to handicap because we don't really know who's starting yet.
Yeah, it's true, but I do like. That 9-game losing streak with just 14 goals scored over that run, and that's before the break, after the break. There's not a lot to like with the San Jose offense. I'm not saying they're the worst offense right now, metric-wise. I think that belongs to Chicago at 5-on-5, who just can't field, literally can't field an NHL roster, a top 6 line. Poor Bedsy just playing with replacement players. I think Anthony Beauvillier is jumping up to his line tonight. If you're looking in the prop market there, but no, let's stay on this game. And I'm happy that you mentioned it. Nino Niederreiter. This is a guy who just doesn't get big minutes, about 14, 15 a game, but he's third on the team in shots on goal per 60 behind Connor and Ehlers, who both are 3.5 shot on goal guys. This is the best price on the board, plus 115 at Sports Interaction. Power play 2, third line, which usually gets more ice time versus the Sharks. 6 of the last 10. This has gone over, including a 3-shot goal effort versus San Jose back in mid-December. Time on ice up over a minute on the road, averaging 2.75 shots per game. You mentioned them. You like the play of that third line. Velarde has cooled down a bit, but Nino is here to pick up the slack. What can you tell people what kind of happens in an NHL bench? We talk about game script a lot. What happens in a game versus San Jose where you're up 3-0 early in the first period?
Well, what happens is players tend to get complacent, right, a little bit, but the bottom of the lineup players tend to get hungrier because they know this is an opportunity for them to play more, and this is probably an opportunity for them to play in situations that they probably wouldn't normally play in a closer game against better teams. So there's that obviously reaction for sure with third line players. But again, like I mentioned earlier, like Winnipeg's third line is unbelievable with the production that they get, led by Adam Lowry, their captain. And so even you could say it's San Jose, this line's been averaging over 16 minutes a night. They'll probably get over 20 tonight if it goes game script and they end up finding themselves in a little bit of a lopsided game. But and this line's been hot. I think they've got goals in 3 straight games. But a lot to like about the play of or at least the spark that this line creates on a nightly basis for Winnipeg.
San Jose allows a ton of shots, and if they do get matched up third line versus third line,
they're going to get eaten alive.
Luke Kunin, Jack Studnicka, and Barbanoff. So it's
yeah. Good luck.
Justin Bailey, Ryan Carpenter, Philip Zadina on the fourth line.
Yikes.
Do you know who the third pairing defensively for San Jose is right now?
I do not.
Have you ever heard of Nikita Okodiotuk?
No.
And Kalen Addison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an easy job being a defenseman on San Jose. You're playing a
Yeah.
lot in your own end. You're blocking a ton of shots. Also, shout out to Mario Ferraro, who has some great. He has a vlog. If you ever watched him, the Toothless vlog, he puts out some good content, and the boy blocks a ton of shots. If you're in the shot on block market,
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Nino, let's go. In Florida Vegas, this game here wanted the under 6.5 minus 120. It was there. Started the show. Got to be honest, it's moved to 6 minus 110 to the under. That's off for me. I like the 6.5. It's gone at Sports Interaction. So it's a spot there. But people who are looking to bet this game, obviously there's a lot going on here. Florida, one of the best under teams in hockey, 14-23 over under on the season. 9-1 to the under over their last 10. We talk about them, how well they're playing, basically playing playoff hockey during the regular season. But the familiarity factor with these guys meeting in the cup last year, how does that affect a regular season game number 39?
Well, it doesn't have any carryover at all, but it's crazy how you just mentioned these are the two teams that played in the Stanley Cup Finals last year.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I mean, you would just look at this as a regular Florida versus Vegas matchup, but a good reminder that these were the last two teams standing last year. I don't think anything about what happened in the playoffs last year is going to carry over. It was a dominant series by Vegas. Florida, their bubble burst, and I think a lot of it had to do with their 9-day layoff before they actually played a finals game and got out of that playoff mode that they built themselves up to be in. But I think this is more about the now. I mean, you talk about recency bias. The Florida Panthers, they have bought into that playoff style success that they built last year and carried that level of play into this season, which is why you're seeing their record on over-unders. They suffocate you defensively. They're getting great goaltending from Bobrovsky. They capitalize on special teams, and they're just a patient team that capitalizes on your mistakes. Sort of like who the team they're playing against in Vegas. And now the difference in Vegas right now and sort of why they've lulled a little bit here is because they've had injuries in net. I don't know who's playing tonight. Is it the Patera kid that's playing tonight? Or is it Thompson back? I think Thompson is back because I think Thompson played last game. But I expect a tight checking game, sort of a chess match with these two teams because they want to live up to the identity that they've built so far this season.
Yeah.
Adam Reckcamp just points out in the chat, too, that no William Karlsson tonight, too, is a hit to their PK.
Yeah, just a hit in general to a Vegas team who, let's be honest, they got pretty lucky landing Aiden Hill, who did what he did. Logan Thompson's been asked to do a lot. Do like Florida in the spot. Do like the under, but where it's moved to, got to get away from it. Sadly, you got to know your price points. And at that, I'm off the under in that game. Last one. Love this play. Buffalo, Montreal. John Jameson, John James, James John.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Two generic first names. Let's just call him JJ Peterka, over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 105. Interesting spot here for Montreal. You can kind of see it priced into the money line with Buffalo favored here. Montreal, first game back from a big 7-game road trip. They didn't really have too much time to decompress. Finished off the game in Dallas, I believe. That was on Tuesday. Buffalo coming off a 5-1 loss. Buffalo was minus 180 at home versus Montreal in December, 3-2 shootout loss, I believe it was. So the line should be around Buffalo minus 30, which it is. So the price is kind of bang on there. But Buffalo has a great shot on goal matchup. They had 48 shots on goal in the last meeting. And Montreal's a bottom 5 team, even strength in shot attempts allowed per 60. I like basically everybody in Buffalo here, especially Alex Tuch, Skinner, and Dahlin. But Peterka at minus 105 is the best value play here. There are some minus 115s out there, so we're getting a great price, which is always good. He's third on the team in shot attempts per 60. He had 5 shots on goal in the last meeting. He's averaging 3.2 shots on goal over his last 12 games, and he's 9-3 to the over on that stretch. You're doing the game today. You know this team very well. Was looking for Slav for a point, maybe at even money. That top line's looking pretty good right now. But what are some of the hurdles that Montreal has to deal with after coming back off that 7-game road trip that ended just on Tuesday?
Yeah, and it ended on a positive note. A big win in Dallas in regulation. And anytime you end a long road trip on a winning note, it makes you come back with a little bit more energy, with a lot more confidence. And I think that's what Montreal is feeling tonight. But this was the end of a long 7-day road trip that had a break of, the New Year's holidays in between. So I think they lost Josh Anderson last game to an injury, and that's unfortunate because he's been, a big spark plug to them lately with his surge in his play and his production. Recently it's helped, allowed their third line to be more productive when they've been out there. And their top line right now with Slavkovsky, who's starting to get, a little bit more comfortable in the league, been hot as of late, 6 points in his last 6 games. And so there's a lot to like about Montreal, but, there's also a lot to factor in too. What's the energy level going to be like for this team after returning home? There's always that little bit of a letdown after coming home from a long road trip, but this is more about Buffalo. Buffalo's coming off an embarrassing loss a couple nights ago. And you know how I feel about teams that come off of embarrassing losses. It's a gut check time for them. And considering that Montreal went into their building earlier in the year and won, there's that extra incentive to make sure that a divisional game, look, Buffalo has to catch Montreal right now in the standings, right? It's a 4-point game. So I like Buffalo on this game too. So based on all the shot references that you just pointed out too, JJ Peterka has been a real bright spot for the Buffalo Sabres. And the thing about Buffalo is that the reason why they're so frustrating is because they'll have a game where they'll look really good. They can beat anybody. And then they'll have a stinker where it's like they can't beat anybody. They need to find some level of consistency with the game. And I think this is a good matchup for them to get back to that, especially coming off of a loss. And the ultimate jinx, I'm doing the Montreal Canadiens game. I don't have a great record of doing Montreal Canadian games. So my partner Aaron Krolnick loves to always chirp me about that. So that's where I'm leaning.
Let's go, Peterka. Jimmy John James Peterka.
Over Jimmy John James.
Minus 105. That's a big wrap up today for the
It's a big board. Yeah.
It is a good board. I do hate that a lot of the stuff that I like is on the West Coast in the later games.
Yeah.
I really do hate that.
I need a nap, buddy, after these last 2 nights in Leaf games.
Oh God. It's late town. But let's go start off with Jonathan Drouin over 0.5 points. Even money. If you're looking for big plus money, maybe something 2+ points for Drouin, who just had 2+ points in that game. Looking right around plus 600. Tampa Bay regulation win plus 125. San Jose team total under 2.5 minus 130. Love that. And then the new Gabe Vilardi, Nino Niederreiter over 2.5 shots on goal plus 115. Give me some more minutes in a game script based thing. We skipped the Florida Vegas under, missed that number. And then JJ Peterka over 2.5 shots on goal minus 105 and a great shot on goal matchup for Buffalo. And as Adam pointed out in the chat, a great shot on goal matchup also turns into a great block shot matchup for Montreal. So guys, like he said, David Savard and what's Gould's first name? Caden Gould's block shot markets also in play there. Let's do that for the Thursday edition of NHL Puck Props from Covers presented by Sports Interaction. But get some sleep. You're busy. I don't envy your job tonight, but enjoy the double header on the broadcast today. I'm Josh Ingles. He's Carlo Colaiacovo. This is NHL Puck Prop presented by Sports Interaction. We'll see you back here tomorrow again, 10 a.m. Lead us out, pal.
It'll be a lot more rewarding for me tonight if all of our picks come in. So let's have
cash.